Hey guys, my name is Lee Dahlberg. I'm 37 years old. I'm from a little island in North Florida called Amelia Island, Florida. If you blink, you'd miss it. A very small town. I'm down in Miami now, and I'm in the fashion industry. I've been in it backwards. Got into it backwards as a model first. I was a model for 20 years I've been, still am, and that's how I got into fashion and whatnot. Then I became obsessed with things that I couldn't find for myself. So one thing I wanted for myself was a cuff that was cool, so I came up with something called a rock band. It's literal, it's a rock on a band, makes a rock band, and that was my first item. It was conceived just literally for me based on a John Wayne film I'd seen as a kid. It moved on. I started another bracelet called a roadie, because a roadie, of course, supports a rock band. Another pun. And then I started groupies, which are necklace sets that hang around with the roadies and the rock bands. Before that even, I was an artist, so as you can see here in my lair, which is also my shop where I build and make all the rock bands, is all my artwork around. It gets my juices flowing to have everything in here on a positive vibe. Now my artwork, here's some of the rock bands as well, but on my artwork it's all based on poetry, so they're called collisions. It's where thought meets picture meets paint, and the collision of those three ideas. So that's where the art comes from. But I also worked that into some of my clothing, and I started a clothing line with my artwork, with the meaning of the poems behind it. Now with rock band clothing, I started with the religious icons, the first original rock stars. So I started with a band of Jesus singing, Buddha on bass, Shiva with 6 arms on drums, a rabbi on keys, and Buddha back there on bass. And the drop tag saying and explaining it all, that what if they all just played along? So that's how I started. Everything I do comes from a positive place, and everything has a bit of a deeper meaning behind it. So that's what rock band is to me. It's easily applied to the rest of fashion. I've designed many things like suits and jackets and whatever. I just haven't pushed it out there yet. In these few years that I've been working on this, 5 years in fact, I've come through wow, lots of trial and tribulation that small companies should never go through. I've actually been in Neiman's, Macy's, Saks, and Bloomingdale's and had spotty experiences with all. I've beaten everybody's vending records for trunk sales, but I could never get past the corporate element of things. So I just needed somebody to help me figure out what is that next step and get me to that next step. Just once people know about it, they love it. I mean, it was mentioned on Oprah's Favorite Things, and I was on Donnie Deutsch, The Big Idea, and they all told me it is a great idea. So I'm just kind of waiting to get that to the world. I think that's the only thing that's stopping me, is just me getting my message out. And that's what rock band's all about. It's from the heart. It has a cool story. Not only does it look good, it makes you feel good, and that's what everything I want to do should have. So I hope that gives you a little insight on me. I hope to see you guys in person. Cheers.